Hello, friends. This is Syafire from the VTuber Voices podcast, and I'll be your host. On this podcast, we like to talk about what it's like to be virtual, what it's like to be a VTuber, how to own your own business, be a content creator, and be creative. In this episode, we will be continuing our conversation with the lovely Fofamit. We will be covering parasocial relationships, how to set boundaries with your community. We'll talk a little bit about Fofa lore. And lastly, we'll get huge into talking about 3D modeling, programs, and software, sort of our opinions on where all of that stuff lies. Enjoy the podcast. Smolder says, the reason why I want to be a VTuber is I want to build a community, but what is the limit with talking to them? Of course, I'm not giving them my house or phone number, but where should I build the wall? So basically like boundaries. How do you set boundaries, Fofa, with people?
Well, what is that phrase called? Parasocial relationships?
Yes.
It's like parasocial relationships are, the best example would be like people who think they're best friends with Logan Paul. Does Logan Paul care about you? No. But Logan Paul wants you to buy his merch and pay for his YouTube fights, as an example. I would say, like, you can find friends from your viewership, but it's something that you should be wary of. There's always going to be that power dynamic there.
Yep.
And, like, whether you have 5 viewers, 10 viewers, 1,000 viewers, like, there's, like, this weird power dynamic that you might not even realize that you have. And like what I mean is that, like, for example, like, you have 5 people that watch you do whatever you want to do. Like that's, and versus like the person who's viewing you, like they're like inherently they're looking up to you, they're viewing you. So like, try to keep that in mind when you're interacting with people, and try to keep things more, aim for more professionals versus like friend. Like, I don't know. It's so weird. I think the only, like, the creator that talks about that the most, like, it's successfully is Ludwig. It's like, it is a parasocial relationship. And like the more, the issue is the more viewers you get, the harder it is to make a connection with your community. And
yeah.
You can alleviate that by having like community nights, by having a Patreon,
Yep.
by having Discord movie nights and hangouts. But like someone comes into your stream and you've never seen them before and they're like, hey, I want to be your friend. And you're just like, who are you? Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's, but at the same time, like, you don't want to turn someone away that, like, who knows who that person is, right? So like it's always safer to like kind of have like some kind of line that you have to draw.
I absolutely agree with you. I think it is one of the hardest parts about being a creator is once parasocial relationships start, you might feel that loss of connection. Even like when you grow, like I've been streaming for 4 years and I streamed to like 5 to 10 viewers for a majority of that time until I became a VTuber. And it's weird now because I was like genuinely, I'd say, closer friends when I had a small community like that. But as you grow, like you said, you know less and less, and it gets more distant, and you have to handle things way differently, like compared to having a smaller amount of viewership versus a larger amount of viewership. And it's all part of the growth, and you learn it as you go, and mistakes will happen, but it's about growing from those mistakes and figuring out, okay, well, how can I solve this problem?
Yeah, I would say like the best thing would be Discord nights, because like it involves like, so for example, my partner Sly, she does Discord movie nights, and like that's a great way to make actual connections, because one, like those people actually need to come out to do that, and it's not as easy as just like going on Discord. I mean, sorry, on Twitch. And like those people have to go out of their way to do that. And then like you'll notice like the regulars that are going to show up, versus like you never really know who's in your Twitch chat.
It's setting those lines of like further out and then a little bit closer and a little bit closer. And even then you still have to be careful, even if you have people in your community that become closer friends, because it happens. It definitely happens. But like Fofa said, there's always going to be that power dynamic, and you got to be conscious of that and just make sure you're communicating if you did become closer friends with anybody that is in your community. So does your VTuber have any backstory or lore? If so, what is it?
It does, but I kind of
it does.
Kind of abandoned. Like, I haven't abandoned it. I just haven't used or mentioned or taken advantage of it in any way other than like its original like conception, which I think is a common thing. Because like when I first started streaming, I was on VR chat, and it sounds like you play VR chat, right? So you know what VR chat mutes are, right?
Yeah.
So I was one of those. I got to the point where like I really wanted to start like speaking, just because like typing in VR, even though I could type like 40 words on like that virtual keyboard a minute, it's like it's not it's not feasible for like large viewership. I made a plan, and like I added like this whole like digital corruption, and like a whole bunch of stuff would happen on stream. I would do stuff off stream, where like I would like be in like this weird corrupted looking avatar that has like all these like weird holes and like these numbers and digits flying all over the place. And then I would purposely like move like as if I'm lagging out towards and around people, and I'd be like into the wall until I don't know. I just did stuff like that. And then eventually I did like I did like a whole like video sequence and a whole animation. It was like a whole event that happened over the course of a year, and like the people that were there, I thought it was pretty cool. And then after the reveal, I'm just like, okay, hi, let's just continue like normal, haha.
Yeah, some people's lores develop in the strangest ways, but that's just how it be. And Rosa says, how many variations of your VTuber character did you make before settling on your current one?
So I started in VR chat. I have maybe about 30 different models.
Really? 30?
Yeah. And basically I learned how to like kit bash models, and then I'm like, okay, well I need to, so then I bought some models in Booth, and I kit bashed models and assets that are either free or I purchased and I have the rights to. And like some things I made myself and then like slapped it on. I would say like this is not like I am gonna be having a redesign. I don't know if I'm gonna do a debut. I'm not really big into the debuts, but like I do understand their value. Maybe I'll do one. I don't know. But like I will have a redesign. It's just I don't have enough time to make my own model as I used to. So I'm in the wait list for PUD. Julie just opened up their commission slots.
Yes.
So I applied for that.
That's really exciting. Heck yeah. I know I've been kind of debating to like just commissioning out my model, like getting a new model done, but since I'm an artist, it's like I should just be patient and like keep working on my own stuff, because it all goes into like building my portfolio and such. So
it's true.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you do modeling. So like you mentioned 3D modeling. What do you normally use for 3D modeling? I'm guessing Maya?
Yep, I use Maya for my models. I use a little bit of Blender for sculpting stuff because I don't know too much about sculpting yet. But I do know a little bit of the sculpting tools there. And then I use Substance Painter to texture my models.
So like I noticed you're using a Vroid model. Is there a reason why like you're not using something that's like you've made in Maya/Blender?
Yeah, so as far as characters done, I haven't modeled any characters before. I'm mostly like, my specialization is in like objects and tables and furniture and like my chair here. So as far as characters go, I really want to learn doing characters, but it's a totally different type of modeling. Yeah, so I want to learn some stuff. I'm going to learn ZBrush hopefully soon too. I'm going back to school. I took a break from school this term. I'm going back this next term. And I'm going to take one like art class, another 3D class, because I've only taken one 3D class, and everything else I'd learned from like a senior that I was constantly bothering. I was like, teach me how to texture. I was like, please help me. Help me learn how to model. So he helped me with a lot of that stuff. So my 3D knowledge is still limited, but mostly a lot of self-taught for 3D stuff.
I don't know, like it look like if I didn't know, it looks like you bought all your assets. Like it's really good.
Oh, thank you.
Like you modeled. Did you model that keyboard and that lamp?
Yes,
and, like,
I just finished this.
The chair and the desk.
Yep, everything except these two figures. So I'm gonna do a point redemption for different people in the community to get their figurines in my world. So like this is someone in the community, this is another person in the community that makes VR chat avatars. That's one of her avatars. So yeah. Fun stuff.
See, like that's really great, because like I struggle with making optimized because like I was watching you make like the case, and I was just like, oh, it's so optimized. Whereas like for me, it's just like I can make something that looks like that, but it's like the worst topology in the world.
Really?
Like, how many materials is it? It's like, oh, it's like 15. It's like, oh, I'm too lazy to atlas and put it together and retopologize it. Whereas like it just looks so clean on yours.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, if you have questions too, feel free to ask. Like I said, I'm still really newer to 3D stuff, but it's fun. Yeah, topology is hard. And like I was saying, for characters too, topology for characters, God, that's a whole realm of stuff. Like I'm starting to learn how to do characters, and I'd like to make stuff from scratch, but that's gonna be a while for sure. And I don't want to put like, yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry, you were gonna say?
Oh, it's okay. I was gonna say, it's weird for me right now because I don't want to I want to work on 3D stuff, but I know like my passion lies in 2D. So I'm trying to figure out how I want to put out my time. How much do I actually want to learn the 3D stuff? Should I just hire someone? At least for character stuff. Do I want to? But it's going to take me a long time. So it's this huge like jumble of a mess in my brain right now.
Have you ever sculpted IRL?
Clay stuff, but not like, yeah, clay. A little bit.
Are you like really familiar with it?
No, probably one of my like lower skills as well.
Then I would recommend looking into box modeling.
Box modeling? Hold on. I gotta add this to my notepad of all the things you've been recommending me. It's just called FOFA, and there's just a list that's growing. Alright, hold up.
So box modeling is basic. So anyone who's looking into making VTuber models and you're not really like sculpting inclined, box modeling. So essentially what you do is you have your character reference sheet, and then you just trace the vertices.
What?
And then and then after that you trace the vertices from the front and then the side, and then you just fill it in.
Yo, that would be, yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, that'd be great. I'm following a Blender tutorial right now. I have like some, and I can draw my own character like reference sheets and stuff. So I'm starting to like do that a bit so I don't have to do stuff from scratch. But oh man, it's hard. It's so hard, but it's worth it. It's gonna be worth it. Ooh, that's a good question. I haven't learned actually anything about blend shapes with Maya, and that's when I go to stuff like Blender, because I know how to do blend shape stuff because of FOFA and Blender. So I always move stuff around. I go from like Maya to Blender, back to Maya, now to Substance. You do what you can with what you got.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Blender. I mean, sorry, Maya, because like I know Maya is like the industry standard, but like
yeah.
it's not free.
Yeah, it's so expensive. It's like $3,000 a year for like studio. That's like, what? Dude. No, yeah, the only reason that I am able to use it is because for one, student discount, so I can use it for free. At least right now anyways. And because my class taught me that. But now I'm in like, oh, I wish I knew more Blender though, because of my YouTube channel, and people are asking how to make certain stuff. I'm like, sorry guys, I know Blender. I know Maya, and nobody knows how to use Maya. Nobody's spending $3,000 a year. Man, yeah, it's not for hobbies. Honestly, watchmakering, there's literally like all artists have to suffer, I feel like, because it's so, if you're a hobbyist, no art programs are built for being a hobbyist, I swear.
Oh, I really, this is like a $30-$40 a month program, but and you probably know about this. I really recommend Marvelous Designer.
Oh yeah, Marvelous Designer.
So good. Like if you
do you know how to use it?
I know how to sew. So like
yes.
It's the same.
Oh my gosh.
So, like,
wait, sewing it
like,
translated into Marvelous Designer, like your sewing skills?
Yeah, so like if you've ever worked off of a sewing pattern before, or you know how to make your own patterns,
yeah,
it's like you just make the pattern, then you just like put it over the model, and you like stitch these edges together, stitches them together.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, I want to learn it for, like, would you recommend Marvelous Designer over Blender for making clothes?
Oh, it depends.
Dang it. I was hoping a simple answer.
If you're making like simple primitive shape clothing, or like form-fitting clothing. So like, for example, if you're making like, let's say an A-line dress, or a mini skirt, or an A-line skirt, or like I guess like something with like an umpier waist, like you don't need Marvelous Designer for that. Like you can just do that in Blender like pretty easily.
Yeah.
Either by copying the mesh of your model, solidifying, and then like projecting, or like just getting a cone and then just like slapping the cone, like a 3D cone on there. Marvelous Designer is really great for making complex, organically shaped clothing.
Oh, that's good to know, because that's like, my style is very organic and like soft flowing, so I feel like Marvelous would work really well for that then. Yeah,
I would say like, since you're in school for that, just see if they offer it for free, or like you can try it for 30 days for free. They have a 30-day trial, and like but my only thing is like, if you don't know how to do patterns, or like you can't comprehend like the 2D patterns into the 3D world, maybe it's not for you.
I mean, you could look up reference images on Google of like sewing pattern for a dress or something to try to figure it out. And I did, when I was majoring in graphic design, one of my classes, we did package design. So I have a little bit of that translation knowledge of like printing out flat and then turning it into 3D. I'd say a lot, but it's around the same. Oh yeah, Toon Boom Harmony, expensive as well. Yep, too bad, can't be a hobbyist. Good luck. Make sure you have like $10,000 extra to spend on all creative apps per year.
What Toon Boom?
Oh yeah, Toon Boom's an animation program. Mel Nazar is a professional animator. So yeah, Toon Boom Harmony, apparently Mel is saying Toon Boom Harmony is another program that's like $3,000 per year. Bruh. That's rough. 1.7K a year for the base product. For 3DS Max? Oh, 3DS Max is on a subscription plan now. I'm not a huge fan of 3DS Max. I haven't like used it, but I don't know. I prefer Maya still. But it's probably just because that's what I know. I think people tend to lean towards the first thing they learn, regardless. There's like some automatic bias. Yeah.
I would say like it leans. My main leaning is it free? Like legally free?
Oh
But
yeah.
also, like, it depends on. So, for example, like, here's my example. I used to use so there's a time where before I was using a lot of Adobe Creative Cloud, and I have access to a $30 a month license for the full suite, and I still have that access. So, and then I'm like, I want to save this $30, and I'm going to switch to completely free. So instead of using Premiere Pro, I now use DaVinci, and DaVinci is like really great. Then how do I replace Photoshop and InDesign?
Affinity Designer?
Affinity Designer is not good.
Dang it.
I can't go back to so for all of you old graphic designers out there, I can't go back to Quark Express. It's just so bad. It's so bad. And then so I'm just like, well, there's PowerPoint, I guess.
PowerPoint, dude. Oh my god. Was it really worth the hassle though? Like to try to find free apps to substitute 30 a month?
Okay, so there's no substitution for InDesign.
Okay.
There is
InDesign.
a good substitution for After Effects and Premiere, which is DaVinci Resolve. For Photoshop, there's GIMP, but it's so bad.
Yeah, I don't like
I know
GIMP.
people swear by it, but it's
I don't
so
like GIMP.
bad. So like, I basically switched back to Adobe afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, I gave it the good college try.
So now you went back to the full suite and you're just like, yeah, Adobe.
I still use Resolve though.
A huge thank you to our guest Fofa. I really appreciate you, Fofa, coming on. We're going to have one more episode with Fofa after this, but this has been a blast so far. What a valuable episode. Really appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next time on the VTuber Voices podcast. Bye!